Hey, Pete with GCI Turf, and in a previous video I was talking about one of my tricks, or one of my secrets to keeping my yard green during the summer. So a little background on it is we're in North Carolina, Greensboro, North Carolina. Terrible heat stress going on. We went 5 or 6 weeks with no rain and 90-degree temperatures. And that's really rough on the fescue grass. So I cut my yard the July 1st and did not mow it again until the second week of August. That was after we got about a 4-inch rain. And so it's kind of what you can expect by not cutting your grass in the summer, keeping it really nice and long and tall and shaggy. And again, here's my little ruler here to show you. So it's 4, 5, 6 inches tall, maybe 7 inches tall in some spots. And we're back in a little bit of a drought situation, so I will not mow the grass again until it rains. I'm not worried about how high it gets and how unkept it looks. I want it green. I'd much rather have a green yard than a green shaggy yard than a mowed short, a mowed brown yard. So talking about heat stress, I'm going to show you what happens with heat stress. All right, so this is your grass blade, the blade of grass. This is the pretty part that people see. And my yard's thick. I'm trying to get down in here to show you some. Let's see. Let's if I pull this out. All right, right here, this is going to be the collar, or a collar on the grass. You can see where it's kind of like an intersecting point there, and it's called the collar, I guess, because it almost resembles a shirt collar hat. It wraps around the stem. And then down here you have the crown of the plant. Sorry, it won't be still. This here's the crown of the plant right here, and of course you get down into your roots and stuff. Well, what happens is, let's talk about this like as if it were a car or a truck. Your root system, of course, is the life of the plant. It's also the engine or the motor of the plant. Well, in the leaf blades itself, we'll consider that the gas tank. And the gas tank is going to hold nutrients. Now, of course, there's going to be nutrients in the soil that uptake by the roots and that kind of thing, but a lot of these nutrients are stored in the grass blade itself, along with moisture and water. One of the tell signs that your yard is starting heat stress is two things. One, it's going to have a bluish tint to it. And the second one is, if you get down real close and inspect the grass blade, hopefully you can see this, but you see how it's curled? It's not a flat grass blade anymore. It's curled up. That's because it's dehydrated and wilted because it hasn't had any water. Well, what's going to happen is, in drought situations, your motor or your roots are going to call for all the available resources in the plant. So what that's going to do is, here's a good example right here. Look at this. If you can see this grass blade right here, you can see how the top of it is starting to turn brown and wilt. Well, what's happening here is the root system is calling for the moisture and nutrients out of this grass blade, and it's going to start at the tip of the grass blade, and it's going to work its way all the way down. Here we go, right here. That's not it, it's this one. So it's going to start at the top, and it's going to work its all the way down until that grass blade is completely brown. And that's where you get some of this at. If you can see down in here real deep, see how these grass blades are completely brown right here? That plant is not dead by no means. It's basically dormant. because it is depleted all of its resources out of this blade of grass. See, this used to be a nice pretty green blade of grass. It's deleted all the resources out of that and sent it to the crown of the plant. The crown is, remember we talked about the crown, here's the crown down here. That in the root system. All the resources goes in there to save that part of the plant. Because if we can save that part of the plant, when it gets into the fall and starts cooling down, that plant will rejuvenate itself and start growing out leaf blades again. So don't sweat it. Now, if it does get too hot, too dry, and the crown of the plant loses moisture and dies off, then that plant's gonna die. And of course, if that happens across the entire yard, you end up with a lot of dead. So don't sweat if you have some brown in your yard. It should come back to life. If you have a tall fescue yard, which the majority of our clients do. You can see over here, now this is a little bit different. This is right up under my septic system, which is high fertility and holds a lot of moisture. And you can see the difference. Look how much higher this grass is and how much thicker and denser it is. And the grass blades here are flat. They're not wilted up because they're not heat stressed, because they have a steady supply of water under the ground from the septic system. So I hope this helps out with identifying heat stress. And of course, the cure for heat stress is water. So going back to the original video on this, is you can have a nice green tall fescue yard. My yard's full sun. It gets very little shade except in the afternoon. And you can have a nice tall fescue yard. You got to stay off of it during the summer. I mean, you've got to stay off of it when it's really hot and really dry. So I know sometimes it doesn't look the greatest, but it will be green. So I hope this helps you. And if you got any questions, you can call us at 336-432-8758. Thank you.